All right, let's tackle the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. MAGA loves it. Trump loves it. Matt Gaetz loves it. Some members of Congress and Senate seem to love it, but there are roadblocks ahead. Many of them. The deep state seems bent on exposing him for his crimes. The uniparty swamp seems terrified. Democrats are they're apoplectic over the concept, over the idea, the prospect of somebody like Matt Gaetz, who has no filters. Somebody like him as Attorney General could really do some damage to the uniparty swamp, the deep state, and the globalist elite cabal. And they know that, which is why many of them are terrified, and they are throwing out everything they can. I mean, they got Trey Gowdy going on Fox News. I don't know what they got on him, but they got something on him because he's made it his mission to stop Matt Gaetz for some odd reason. But there are ways Donald Trump is doing his very best to make it happen. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I want to go over the 4 different ways that Matt Gaetz can become the next Attorney General. I'm going to do these in order from worst case scenario to the best case scenario. There is one way that I would love to see it happen, and that's what we're going to shoot for. And that's also what Donald Trump is shooting for. But let's start off with the worst case scenario. A lot of people are talking about how, because Mike Johnson made a comment that he's going to do everything he can to try to force a recess, force the issue onto the Senate if necessary. He didn't say those exact words, but he heavily implied it, that there are actions that he can take. And in reality, those actions are very minimal. Okay, so anytime that the House and the Senate go on adjourn for longer than 3 days, they both have to consent. So they have to agree, hey, we're going to adjourn, okay? We're going to adjourn, we're going to go on a recess for 10 days or 11 days is what they would really need, because you have to be in recess for at least 10 days in order for recess appointments to be able to kick in. So Mike Johnson can say, okay, let's do it for 11 days. If John Thune doesn't agree, then there is one, I call it sort of a nuclear option, in which Mike Johnson sends over the resolution calling for an 11-day adjournment. And if John Thune replies and says, no, we don't want to do it for 11 days, then the House and the Senate are in what's called a state of disagreement. And at that point, it goes to the President of the United States to decide whether or not they're going to adjourn, and if they are, how long they're going to adjourn for. This has been talked about. It's like, oh yeah, Trump can call it. Trump can't actually do anything unless those very specific set series of events happen. Mike Johnson sends it through. John Thune replies, says, no, we don't want to do it for that long or whatever. And now they're in this. And then the third step there is that the counteroffer from John Thune has to then be rejected by Mike Johnson for it to take effect, for there to be a state of disagreement, in which case it falls to the president to decide. But here's the thing. If John Thune doesn't want to adjourn, then all he has to do is nothing. So to be in a state of disagreement, they have to disagree. If Mike Johnson sends it over and John Thune just sits on it, doesn't reply, doesn't say yay or nay to anything, then it's in limbo. So that option, as odd as it sounds, and as it's a lot of people talking about, it's the nuclear option, we can make this happen. That's not going to happen because if John Thune doesn't want to do it, he's not going to reply. So there's that. So just pretty much wipe that one out of your mind. That's the worst case scenario anyway, because it starts off the 47th presidency with conflict between the House and the Senate, the Republican-controlled House and the Republican-controlled Senate, and we don't want that. We want as much unity as possible. So option 2 is the Federal Vacancies Reform Act of 1998. If the president so chooses, he can appoint an acting director for a cabinet position. Not director, an acting. He can appoint Matt Gaetz as acting Attorney General. Now, without consent or approval from the Senate. The key there is that it's an acting position. It has all the power of Attorney General, but it only lasts for 210 days, so essentially 7 months. So we can have Attorney Matt Gaetz former Congressman Matt Gaetz, as Attorney General of the United States for 210 days, at which point he would have to be replaced by either another acting Attorney General, or they can go for another 210-day extension if they were to, at that point, prior to the end of the 210 days, if Trump were to submit a different name to the Senate to then be confirmed, at which point then the Senate will have 210 days after that to confirm that appointment. So technically speaking, it's possible that Matt Gaetz could be the Attorney General for 14 months without being confirmed. Realistically, he could do it for 7 months. And that might be a scenario. That's the sort of the worst case scenario. If they can't get option 2 or option 1, which we'll get to, in play, then at the very least, Trump could say, all right, Matt, you got 7 months, go to work, do your darndest. I'm going to work on Thune and the rest of the Republicans to see if we can't get you confirmed properly. But in the meantime, you got 7 months, at least 7 months, go to work. And that's great. I mean, it's still better than nothing. I'll take it. It's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, it's good. 7 months of Matt Gaetz is better than 7 years of pretty much anybody else. So that's option number, working backwards. That's option number 3. Option number 2 is, of course, a Republican-approved recess appointment. So they say, oh, you know what? We can't get everybody on board. We've got 3 Republican senators or 4. If they get 4 Republican senators that are against your Matt Gaetz or Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr. or any of the nominees, we've got these guys. They're not on board. They won't vote to confirm, but I can get them to at least vote to go on an 11-day recess. Okay, that kind of takes them off the hook. They don't have to vote for Matt Gaetz, right? But they're willing to basically step aside and let the will of the people, the will of majority of the Senate, and the will of the President of the United States to form his own cabinet, pick his own people, hire people that he wants to hire. They're willing to at least step aside for that. So in that scenario, of course, we would have a recess appointment, probably multiple recess appointments, which haven't happened since Barack Obama. It used to be pretty easy. I mean, we've been having recess appointments since George Washington. And just about every president since then has engaged in recess appointments. But with that said, 2014, the Supreme Court ruled that to be considered in recess long enough for a recess appointment by the president, the Senate has to be in full recess for at least 10 days. So that's why it behooves us, if Thune can't get the votes, or maybe he doesn't want to get the votes, then at the very least he can push for an 11-day recess, at which point Trump will take all the people that he couldn't get confirmed directly through the Senate and get them over the line. Now, a lot of people are saying that that's the best case scenario, and that's what Trump wants, right? Trump wants that, so that's got to be the best case scenario. But here's the thing. That does expedite the situation, but it also taints the situation in many ways. There will be lawsuits, okay, if they use recess appointments, even if they do everything by the book. It opens the door for Democrats to file frivolous and time-wasting, time-delaying lawsuits, pointing out that, there's shenanigans here, shenanigans there, and then try to take it up to the Supreme Court. They won't be able to, and the appointments will stick, but it will be a humongous waste of time, energy, resources, and all that stuff to forcing the Trump administration to defend their choice of using recess appointments. Which, again, the last time that it was used was by Barack Obama, and it was through lawsuits from the right that ended up sort of harming us today. It's, what comes around goes around, and now we're feeling the effects of that. So then we get to the ideal scenario, and that is a timely, a rapid, an orderly, and a unified confirmation from the Republican Party. All 53 senators Republican senators, they vote, they confirm all of Trump's appointments in a timely manner, very quickly, and then there's nothing the Democrats can do about it. There's nothing that's going to come back and bite us. Nothing's going to delay anything. And notice that I said timely, because if we start getting into 100, 200, 300 days before we can actually get a lot of these people confirmed, then no, that's not an ideal scenario. Thune has to do his job. He has to do better than his job. He has to do better than Mitch McConnell did. He has to do better than Chuck Schumer did for Joe Biden. He has to do better than Mitch McConnell did for Donald Trump. I remember people were like, oh my gosh, back in 2017, 2018, look at Cocaine Mitch. He's doing such a great job of getting these people confirmed. And I'm like, dude, no, he's scheduling it out. He's not doing a very good job at it. It's not hard. Okay. It really isn't hard to get confirmations when it's your own party, right? It shouldn't be hard at all. It should be rapid fire. You should be able to get this done. It's like, all right, guys, get to work. Let's do this. Democrats are going to try to delay in committee. Fine. Then we're going to strike back at them. If they want to do that, awesome. We're going to get to work. We're going to work weekends. We're going to do long hours. Everybody's here 16 hours a day. If you can't handle it, then maybe you should go get a job elsewhere. Step down. We have a country to save. There's been tremendous damage that's been done over the last 4 years. We've got to reverse that damage, and then we've got to move forward. Okay. And again, whether or not Thune is the guy for the job, he's got the job, so we will find out. I'm willing to find out, and if he doesn't want to do it, great. Recess appointments it is. But an ideal scenario is that we have these appointments, that we have these confirmation hearings, that they're rapid, that they're definitive, and that Trump can get, and his team can get to work. Be sure to follow my work everywhere that I work by going to jdrucker.com/find, F-I-N-D, jdrucker.com/find. You'll find my socials, my shows, my Substacks, the works.